So I was talking to one of my technicians at work today, and somehow we got on the topic of, and I don't remember how we got onto it, but we got onto the topic of me eventually getting promoted, me moving away from managing the team that I currently manage to presumably manage, more teams, more than one, or whatever the case might be. And he had shared with me, if this happens, if this is ever the case where you move on, you get promoted, I think this is something that I'd like to do. And this is something that he's shared in the past. It's not a secret. He's been very abundantly clear where he said, look, yeah, in the future, I want this job. I want to do this. However, he said, I'm worried that I wouldn't be good at it. I'm worried that I would fail as a manager for this team. Now, this guy's been with the company as a whole, let's say 5 or 6 years. He's been on my team maybe 2, maybe 3 years, less than 3 years. I would say less than 3. And he said, I'm afraid that if I were put into a leadership position, that I would fail. Now, he's got a lot to learn. By far, he's got a lot to learn. He knows this. I've been abundantly clear. He's one of these guys where he's just starting out his career, and he's a very young gentleman, and he's got a hell of a lot to learn. But he said this, and it got me thinking. I've been thinking about it all throughout the day, because the response I gave him, I kind of asked, why do you feel this way? Like, what do you feel that has put you in a place right now where you aren't able to be a leader, right? Because there are some people that are just natural leaders. There are some people that fall into it. There are some people that can manage but not necessarily lead, which is, I think, the majority of people put into managerial roles. But it takes a special type of person to lead, not just to be in charge, but to actually lead. And I said, what makes you feel this way? And he said, I've tried to get positions in the past with the company. There've been openings, there've been spots where I thought I would have been a good fit, on other teams that are a little bit more interesting, different than what we do now, but pretty interesting. And I wanted to check them out. And I've interviewed 2 or 3 times on different teams trying to get a position, and every single time I get passed over. Someone else gets the job, someone else gets the promotion, someone else gets what I tried to get. And, I keep failing, so why would I not fail at this? And I was really taken aback by this. And like I said, it's something that's been on my mind all day. Because here's the deal, and this is what I shared with him. Even as a manager, even as a leader, regardless of whether we're talking about World of Warcraft, which I've had a large number of these, but even as a manager at work, there are a lot of failures that I've had. There are times where I've interviewed for promotions or different teams or whatever the case might be, and I've been told, look, you lack these qualifications, you lack this, you lack that, you don't have this, you screwed up on that, we don't want you doing this or that. And even in World of Warcraft, I've made bad calls. I've made bad calls during the raid that have caused wipes. I've made bad calls that have caused people to quit the game, to leave the guild, to stop raiding, to be pissed off, to be angry, to potentially hate me, to potentially not like me. And it's unfortunate. Don't get me wrong. It's really unfortunate. Sometimes, it's totally on you as a raider, but sometimes, yeah, I fucked up. I fucked up quite a bit. But here's the deal. Regardless of where you're at in life, and we're going to specify in a leadership position, even though this really applies to anyone in any position, you are going to fail. You're going to make bad calls. You are going to tell the raid to move left when you should have told them to move right. You're going to say, stick on the boss when you should have killed ads. You're going to tell them to kill ads when you should have stayed on the boss. You're going to tell them to bloodlust at the wrong time. You're going to give loot, personal loot now, but you're going to give loot to the wrong person. I've done it before. You're going to promote people into positions that are not great positions for them to be in. They shouldn't be in, that somebody else could have done better, etc., etc. But here's the deal. You're going to learn. If you stick with it, you're going to learn. You are going to learn what works, what doesn't work. You're going to learn to read people. You're going to learn who should and should not be in positions. You are going to learn so much. And you're going to tell the raid to move right when they need to move right, and move left when they need to move left. And you're going to learn how to tell the difference between sticking on the boss and switching to ads. Or you're going to learn when it's appropriate to sacrifice a player to a mechanic that will kill them so that you can secure that kill. Or when it's okay to call out something out of the ordinary, to call an audible, if you will. You're going to make decisions where people that you've put into leadership positions or put into specific job roles, they are, whatever. I can't think of anything specifically right now, but they're going to be in a position where they shine. And you're going to learn these things. And it takes time. Yes, there are leaders that are born. There are people that simply were meant to lead. Throughout history in World of Warcraft and guilds and raids and, my time in the Marine Corps, there were leaders, there were officers and staff NCOs and non-commissioned officers that were amazing, that were just natural born leaders. I'd love to consider myself one of them. I don't know if that's the case or not, but yeah, there are people that are born, but there's still a lot to learn. And no one says that you can't learn how to develop yourself and be a leader. And again, I'll harp on it because I harp on it, every once in a while in a video. It seems about time. Some of this comes with self-reflection. Looking inward and going, wow, I really screwed up. I picked the wrong dude last night. I really screwed the pooch. I made a bad call. I fucked it up. I shouldn't have done it, etc., etc., etc. It comes with open honesty and criticizing yourself. It goes with never, we've talked about the leadership traits, right? This idea of endurance, of honesty and integrity and things where you're never quitting. You're always learning, gaining that knowledge in these things. And it all comes down to screwing up, learning your lessons, moving on, moving on. And as I've said before, when it comes to raiders, if you screw up a mechanic this week, I don't expect that next week it's going to be perfect, but it should be a significant improvement over last week's failure. Same thing with leadership position. You made a bad call. Don't do it again. Learn from your mistake. Figure out what you've done wrong and move on. And with that being said, guys, hopefully this was instructional, something that really pushes you to be a leader if that's what you want to be. To screw up, to make those mistakes, learn from them, move on, use them down the road where you go, ooh, last time I did this, it didn't really work out. So I'm going to change tactics. I'm going to make a different play this time. Hopefully you like what I'm saying here. If you do, you guys know what to do. If you don't like it, you guys know what to do. Just let me know in the comment section down below what you think. And until next time, guys, I'll see you.